Welcome, everybody, to Fragrance Scopes for your Sagittarius season. I'm here with the amazing Diane Krecka, fragrance expert. Diane, thanks so much for joining me again.
My pleasure. It's exciting.
It's super exciting. Well, Scorpio season has been very, very tough for a lot of people. It's just not been an easy time. But after Scorpio season, we have Sagittarius season, and that's the rainbow. The sun comes out again, and we're able to look at things from a broader perspective and determine what big plans and schemes and dreams that we have. And with that optimism, we're able to get them. So we're going to talk today all about the Sagittarius energy, how Sagittarius drives expansion, growth, and self-discovery. We're going to talk about the metaphysical properties of Sagittarius, Sagittarius fragrances. We're going to talk about how we can use fragrance to align with Sagittarius's adventurous spirit. And then we're going to talk about how to find fragrances that embody these qualities. And you can actually, there's a wonderful app called perfumist.fr. And if you're looking for a fragrance, you can search via note or fragrance that you like. And that app is really going to be very, very helpful for you after this episode when you find out what's hot right now or what would be helpful for you to write right now. And by the end, you're going to have the knowledge to select fragrances that resonate with Sagittarius energy, enhancing your personal growth and adventurous spirit. So the big thing right now with Sagittarius is all about expansion and growth. It's about bigger, better, more. It's like the Santa Claus of the all the astrological signs. And it's about broadening horizons, how we can expand and grow. And the most important thing about Sagittarius is your belief systems. And it's about really having an internal, they used to call it locus of control, meaning there's so much stuff that's going on outside of you that it's going to be important for you to determine what state you want to be in. And Sagittarius is very much like that. So if you make the decision early on, okay, today I'm going to have a joyful day, or today I'm going to fall in love, or today I'm going to tap into the energy of prosperity, you got to make that decision. Otherwise, what you're going to be doing is letting the whole world or external forces govern how you feel. And that is a bad idea.
Very bad. Yes. And for any sign, actually.
For any sign, yeah. Yes. And what I think is cool, though, is that when you're choosing a fragrance, you're actually making a choice. You're saying, okay, well, this is me. This is how I'm going to show up. Wouldn't you say that it's like it starts your day on a very self-governing foot?
Yes, it is. I mean, fragrance is a statement that you make to the world, is what I would say. There's no wrong answer when it comes to fragrance. You of course wear whatever you like to wear, and depending on your mood and the time of year, etc., you make personal choices. Of course, some fragrances smell better on one person than another. We all know that. But in terms of Sagittarius, I think I think when I did a little research on the notes, and I was happy to say that there was one fragrance specifically that I absolutely adore. And I'm very jealous that I'm not a Sagittarius, because this particular fragrance was quite a breakthrough in the fragrance industry. When it came out, everyone was just beside themselves with, happiness, and people love it. And you know what they say, the best form of flattery is, when somebody, I don't want to say copies you, but yes, we'll call it that. And so as a result of this particular fragrance, which I can tell you is called Cool Water by Davidoff.
Oh,
it's a gorgeous fragrance. And there have been many spin-offs of this through the years. But to me, it's a beautiful fragrance. It has a lot of the notes that we'll get into now that the Sagittarius personality has. But for me, it was an adventurous fragrance. It was totally creative, and it will last long after we're all gone. It's going to be, it's a masterpiece.
Cool water. I think I used cool water a long time ago. So it's been around for at least 20 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's by Davidoff, and it's just a, and anyone can wear it. It's unisex, really.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it marketed as a man's
Yes.
cologne? Yeah.
Yes. It had, it's kind of a bluish bottle and everything,
Yeah.
again, you can go on the web, the app and see, but,
Mhm.
but when I first smelled it on a man that I was happened to be sitting next to on the bus, I was like, "Oh my God, you're wearing cool water?" He's like, "Yes." Like, "Are you going to stalk me now?" But he had such a great trail. When he got up and left the bus, I was behind him, and I could still kind of, it was like wafting to me, and it was absolutely scrumptious. So
That's
that's like the big deal, I think, for Sagittarius is the cool water, realm.
that makes. I mean, it's so Sagittarius. Just the whole. Even there's the language, cool water, because Sagittarius is a fire sign, but it's water of fire.
Oh,
So there are some
perfect.
fire signs, like Aries is the fire sign that starts the stuff. It's the cardinal initiating sign. Let's go. And they have a lot of fire at the beginning, but they're not known for finishing things, right? Because they have all that energy up front. And then you
Right.
have the Leos, who are the fixed fire sign. So they finish everything off. They finalize things, they end things. And that's so Aries is fire of fire. It's the fieriest fire sign, and it's cardinal. And then you got Leo, and that's air of fire. They're the most intellectual of all the fire signs, and they finish things. And then you have Sagittarius, which is water of fire, and that's mutable fire. So they transform or they change, right? And cool water, I feel like just the name, it's more relaxed, right? It's very
Yes.
nautical. Is it nautical? Would you say?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah. But it has some grapefruit in it
mhm.
and some sage, and which you'll see when we talk more about the Sagittarius sign. But it's fresh and clean. It's got a
Mhm.
little sexiness to it.
Yeah,
Um, Very rarely will anyone say, "Oh God, it's so strong, it's so heavy." No, not at all.
that's great.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna have to
you
get
you
some.
kind of picture the blue serenity of the water, when you're smelling it. So it's fantastic.
And the packaging must help with that, right?
Yes, yeah, yes. And that's something too. I think, I believe that the gentleman that created it was also, I think he was some kind of like a psychologist.
Really?
So that's why I believe he put it all together and made it, one big package that people would understand. So it was the color of the blue. He did a lot of
Mhm.
research on that, and the bottle and the ingredients. It was a whole masterpiece that he put together.
Oh, that's great. And
Yeah.
men and women can wear it. Have you actually put it on yourself? I know you enjoy it on somebody else, but
Yeah. I had bought it for myself, but it was more fun for me to smell it on people
yeah.
than for me to wear it on myself. It was almost like opening presents before Christmas morning. It just like ruined it for me. So
Yeah.
I ended up giving it to a gentleman that I was actually seeing at the time. I kind of regifted it, and it smelled terrific. I really have never smelled anyone that didn't smell very luscious with it on. So
Isn't that good? Okay, so now we have our first tip, cool water. It's been around for
water.
ages. So
It's great.
that's great. And I think it is very Sagittarius. And what's really cool about us doing this show today is that right now, it's the week, if you're catching this live or not live, but on the week of November. We're November 20th today. So we're under the Taurus full moon energy. And Taurus is all about the senses. It's ruled by Venus. It's very fragrance related. Not only that, but we have Saturn right now in the sign of Pisces. And Saturn is about creating definition and structure. And Pisces is actually aligned with oils and fragrances. And come November 30th, we're going to have our Sagittarius New Moon. Now, the thing is with the Sagittarius New Moon, there's a little bit of an issue with things going as quickly as we might want them to go. We have the Sagittarius New Moon making a square That's a 90-degree angle that's pretty awkward with Saturn and Pisces. So that's going to slow us down. Meanwhile, we have Mercury retrograde come November 30th on that new moon, and Mars is slowing down too, and that's going to be going retrograde as well. So we have this Sagittarius energy that's very, very expansive and wants to go and is very, very fast, but we have all these aspects that are keeping us from moving as quickly as we might like. So it's the perfect time between the Taurus energy that we're in now, Saturn being in Pisces, how we really need to direct our imaginations through fragrance, and fragrance can help with that.
Mm-hmm.
But most important, with that new moon in Sagittarius, it's a great time to think big, but you're going to have to slow your roll. So what better thing to do than to enjoy fragrance? You're going to be on this journey. It's not going to be lickety split. Things aren't going to take off straight away. So you can enjoy your fragrances, and that's going to help you enjoy your process and enjoy your moments. So it's the perfect
Absolutely.
time that we're doing this now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think again, fragrance, for me is it's not just about what you're putting on your body, but what you surround yourself with, whether it be other people or your environment, in your bedroom, in your living room, things of that nature. To surround yourself with pleasant odors, I think helps your mind and your soul at the same time.
Oh yeah, makes a big difference. It makes
Yeah.
a huge difference. So we're going to talk all about that. Yeah, so we have that Sagittarius new moon on the 30th. So this could be a great time to start a new beginning, and what better way to start with your fragrance, a new fragrance. And you can always go to that app, perfumist.fr, and that's going to help you really determine what fragrances might be good for you. And if you caught the podcast that Diane and I did, she advises that we go to a perfumery or a Macy's or some place where they actually have perfumes and fragrances, and you want to try them on, because what smells great on Diane might not smell great on you, right? So
Completely, yes.
yeah, you want to just check it out, and that can be really, really fun, because you're going to have to slow down anyway, right? So why not just, stop to smell the flowers, start smelling
Literally.
good. Literally start smelling the flowers. So
yeah,
there are a few fragrances that align with Sagittarius. One of the ones is called Saffron, and what's really cool is that saffron has metaphysical properties. All fragrances, not all fragrances, but all herbs have metaphysical properties. And saffron's known for its ability to stimulate the mind and spirit. It's used in magic for enhancing intuition, creativity, and spirituality. And it's also used for attracting prosperity and good fortune. It's associated with the element of fire, which aligns with Sagittarius's fiery energy of expansion, passion, and adventure. And if you're into Greek mythology, it's associated with goddess Hera, who is the queen of the gods, and she represents richness and power. And it's similar to the luxurious and bold nature of saffron. How do you feel about saffron, Diane?
So for me personally, it's, you need to use it in very small quantities because it's a very strong and powerful herb. But I will tell you that Demeter, the Demeter line, has a saffron fragrance. And again, if you're really into being, bold and daring, you might want to try it. Also, Jo Malone has a saffron fragrance in her line. Saffron also is, in fact, unisex.
Is it?
And it has some kind. It has a bit of a like it can stimulate your taste buds as well. So used in the right way, it can be very sexy. It can be very sexy. It could be very strong, or you could just use it, as a hint, as you use it in cooking as well. So you have to be a skilled perfumer in order to get that right balance, so that you just don't smell like somebody's dinner from last night. You know what I mean? It has to be in the right amount. But again, these are all very skilled perfumists that are doing these fragrances, and I think if you give it a try, again, go in, try it, wear it on your skin. It's not going to be that obvious, but just know that the saffron note is in those fragrances. So try it.
How would you describe it?
I think it's, like I said, it's strong. It's when I smell it, it kind of tingles my nose a bit because it's got like a spiciness to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for the shy person. I would say
Ah.
it's more for someone who's a bit more dynamic or
Mhm.
who wants to be more dynamic. You know,
Mhm.
like you said, we're, you know, starting afresh. So
Yeah.
maybe this, you know, one of these fragrances will help that person to start anew. You know, that we have the new year coming, you know, and the new moon and all. You know, try it and see. It's something I don't think people would think to look at right off the bat. You know, there has to be a reason why. So this is the reason. I think, you know, go
Mhm.
and try something like that.
So it's a little spicy.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it
yeah.
is. Okay, so it's
Mhm.
spicy.
Spicy,
So
yeah.
if somebody wants to start a new beginning, they want to be bold and they want to, you know, maybe start a new career or find a new lover, etc.
Yeah,
Saffron might be good because that's going to give them that extra sense of fire. So
yeah.
they can enter those rooms and take
And
it over
take it
and
over.
do
Yeah,
what they need
yeah.
to do.
You
Okay,
know, I
that
mean, the thing about fragrance again is that I think, you know, it can help you start a new mindset. You know,
yes.
maybe you're starting a new job or you're starting a new relationship or,
Mhm.
you know, you're ending a relationship and now you're, you know, kind of alone for the while. And maybe, you know, this will give you some kind of courage, you know, like fragrance
Mhm.
can do all of those things for you. So as you can tell, I, you know, I've dedicated my life to it. So,
Yeah.
so for me, it's very important, and it's, you know, part of your everyday living.
Yeah, well, I'm realizing now that the root chakra, which is our base chakra, like at the base of the spine, and it's red. It's about stability. It's our safety chakra. It's the most important one because you need to make sure that you're feeling safe before you can go to, you know, pleasure and then power and then love and then truth and foresight and connecting to the universe. But what's interesting is that base chakra is connected to smell. So there's
Huh.
a certain primal
Interesting.
aspect of smell,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that it can affect us on multiple levels and can actually be pretty grounding, right? Because
Yes.
it will help you to be in your body. Excuse me. It'll help you to be in your body. And so many times when I'm talking to clients, if they're too much in their heads or they're worried about things, it really just helps for them to get into their senses, to get grounded. Like, where are you now physically? What are you feeling? What are you sensing? What are you smelling?
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
great idea
Yeah.
to use some saffron
Mm-hmm.
to fire
Yeah.
things up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Excellent. So our next fragrance is that's associated with Sagittarius is basil.
Yeah.
Basil's often used for protection, purification, and strengthening of personal power. It's believed to help
Mhm.
clear mental fog and restore balance, making it ideal for Sagittarius's need for clarity and a clear path forward. Its
Yeah.
element is fire. It shares the energetic, stimulating nature of fire, energizing and motivating Sagittarius to take action or any sign to take action. And it's actually it's associated with my favorite god, Apollo. Apollo is always my go-to god. He's my favorite one, god of the sun, which is healing and clarity, and it reflects Basil's energizing and purifying qualities. So I know of it in pasta or like in
Oh
tomato
yes, and tomato sauce.
tomato sauce,
Yeah.
but I never heard of it in terms of fragrance. So can you explain basil for fragrance?
Yeah. Well, it's clean, it's
Yeah.
earthy.
Hmm.
And well, again, Joe Malone has a fragrance called Basil and Neroli because
Oh.
the neroli, you know, is more of an orangey fruit, and the basil works very well with that. Um, Basil actually can come through on your skin if you have too much of it, you know. So you
Hmm.
know, again, it's a balanced situation. But I love that. I love basil. It's when you break the leaf open and you smell it, it's
Hmm.
nothing like that. It's a almost it's that's why it goes so well with the tomato because it's that fresh, herbaceous, airy smell that you know is used in cooking and in fragrance as well. I know a lot of people say basil in a fragrance. Oh yes, they use a lot. It's very fresh, clean note. So I like it. It's an aromatic herb, is how I would describe it.
Aromatic.
Aromatic herb. Hmm.
What does
So
that
that
mean?
would mean, again, when you snap it open, it
Hmm.
aerates in the room. It diffuses well. Sometimes you rub it together and then you smell it on your skin, and you smell clean and
Hmm. Hmm.
nice. So, and I believe back in, before there was perfumers and chemists and things, basil was used, by the Cleopatras of the world that wanted to smell good and clean.
Hmm.
Basil was used in that way as well. So, um, I tell you, this is a terrific sign, because there's just so many great
Hmm.
chemicals and herbs, and it was very exciting. As I was doing my research, I was really surprised at the versatility of the notes that you find in the Sagittarius zodiac sign.
Oh, really cool. So I
Yeah.
know with mint, they say mint is good for clarity. The
Yes.
problem, so if you need clarity, you can use some mint. The problem, they say, with mint, if you wear too much of it, everybody's going to you to get clear on things. Like, everybody's looking for you to solve their problems.
Hmm.
So would you say, is basil a mint, or is it minty?
No, as I said, it's more aromatic. I mean, if the only thing I would say that you have in common with mint is that they can be very strong. Mint, like, you can't kill mint. You have to really use it in very, very small doses. Otherwise, it just overpowers everything else, which is why you don't usually find mint per se in fragrance that much, because it kind of overpowers. Whereas the basil, used in right amounts, as you use it in a tomato sauce or anything else, in the right dose, if you will, it pushes other notes, it complements other notes. It's a friendly aromatic herb, I would say.
And you mentioned Joe Malone.
Joe Malone has one. Yes, it's basil and neroli.
Okay.
So it's, again, it's clean. The neroli has like an orange flower odor, and then the basil kind of, pushes it. It's picture like a mandarin orange with some basil, if I had to put it, in simpler terms. But you could imagine how nice and clean that smell. It's invigorating. It's fresh. Um, it's something to wear perhaps when you're going for a run in the park, or you want to, or you just, want something nice at the gym. Nothing too overpowering or offensive in any way. You can't really not like that combination.
So with basil on its own, would you call it tangy?
I don't know. Tangy to me is like a little bit of a sour note. No, this is very, very fresh, fresh
Fresh.
and clean.
Fresh and clean.
Perhaps, like I said, more earthy, if I had to,
Okay.
describe it. But it's a clean, fresh herb.
Very good. So with saffron, as we were speaking about before, that has like a lot of fire for it. So if
Spicy.
somebody wants a new beginning, they should probably wear saffron. Compared to basil, basil is more a matter of it's not to make as big of an impression so much as saffron. What would basil be better for? I think you already said the gym, but can you amplify on that?
Yeah, or like I said, or if you're going out with friends,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and you just, you want to smell nice, but you don't want to be overpowering if you're in a big group. There's nothing worse than a bunch of people all getting together and all their fragrances are just clashing. And, my nose just goes crazy. It's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
smelling this, I'm smelling that. I mean, I can smell somebody's shampoo. So you could imagine all these things together. But the basil and neroli, like I said, together, it's just fresh and clean. It smells like after you take a shower. It's a bit invigorating. So it's a very nice combination.
So it's more for, like, say, clarity, and it's not about
Yes.
being like the main attraction star of the
No.
show. It's more like blending in. So
Blending
maybe
in.
daytime.
Daytime. I personally wouldn't wear it on a date, at
You
night.
wouldn't.
I
Why?
well, because for me, I think, you want to attract the opposite sex, you know. Now,
Mhm.
if it's a first date and you're just getting to know the person, you might want to try it. But for me, this is more of a day thing.
Okay.
You know, if you're meeting somebody for a cup of coffee and things like of that nature, and you know, people will say, "Oh, you smell good." You know, did you just take a
Right.
shower? You know, it's that kind of a thing.
Oh, how nice. So it's more
Lovely.
casual, yes?
Yeah, it's more casual.
Casual. Would you
Yeah.
call it elegant or no?
No,
You
I would
wouldn't.
say it's not. It's more. I would say if I had to put it in a category, perhaps
Yeah.
sporty.
Sporty.
More of a
Okay. All
sporty
right.
category, I would say. Yeah.
That's great. Do you know of any other besides that Joe Malone you mentioned? Any other fragrances that you would say have strong basil or
Let's see. Well, I mean, you know, again, there's not, you know, they don't really mention a lot of it unless you really dig deep.
mhm, mhm.
So there's another fragrance. It's called lime basil, and
Okay.
that one again. Notice how they're putting the citrus note with the basil note. So it's
Mhm, mhm,
all anything that you know you would put with the basil note in the citrus category will enhance, will push. You know, they
mhm,
use notes in perfumery to complement other notes and not have them clash with other notes. And that's the reason why when you if you love a fragrance, I always recommend buy the body lotion first
mhm,
and try that on your skin because the amount of perfume in a body lotion is a lot less than of course if you're going to buy the actual perfume or cologne, right?
mhm,
So try that first, or if you really want to give it the extra dose, you put the perfume or cologne on over the body lotion as a layering effect,
mhm, mhm.
and that way the oils from the lotion will hold those notes for you and complement. It's never a good idea to mix. So if you're gonna put body lotion on, make sure that the one you're getting complements the fragrance that you're going to be wearing, so that you're not, you know, kind of mixing things up, and then you get a lot of nothing because then everything's confused. You know, try to keep it. You know, I try to get either like a cologne that is fresh and clean with a lotion that's simple, either that has no fragrance in it at all,
Mhm.
or is the same one.
Don't mix, don't worry.
That's right. Exactly.
Exactly. Okay,
Yep.
that's great. And also with that layering thing that you mentioned on the podcast we did too, you can actually they have oftentimes shower gel. So then it's
Yes.
like you can do the shower gel, then you do
Fabulous.
the lotion, who and then you have your fragrance. There might even be, I mean, for some maybe shampoos they
There,
have.
that's a
No.
different story. I don't think that
Yeah.
they could, but again, you know, what's better than when you get in the shower in the morning and you're tired and
Mhm.
you have some kind of invigorating smell in
Yeah.
the shower. I mean, doesn't that help wake you up? Doesn't that help to get your mood
Sure.
set for the day?
So does. Yeah.
So, shower gels to me are very important, and I always go to the citrus notes for shower
Mhm.
gels in general.
Yeah.
A bit of mint or eucalyptus, perhaps
Mhm. Mhm.
something invigorating. You
I
know,
love that.
would be
Yeah.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. And our third and final fragrance for Sagittarius is sage. Now, sage is typically used for cleansing, right, or smudging. If you ever need to smudge your home, say, you know, I had a client who was going through a breakup. She kicked some guy out, so she needed to like smudge, right, to get his energy out of there, fresh start, right. And you want to do that you want to do that clockwise, and you get your sage or your white sage, but it's traditionally for cleansing and clearing, purification, and spiritual wisdom. And it burns away negative energy and invites clarity of thought, which aligns with Sagittarius's need for intellectual exploration and truth seeking. Sage is
Mm-hmm.
actually associated with the air element, which supports wisdom, communication, and mental clarity. And that, of course, resonates with Sagittarius because it's all about the higher mind and philosophical growth. And it's associated with Athena, the
Huh.
goddess of wisdom, knowledge, and strategy. She fought her battles with her intellect, and she was pretty fierce. And it embodies the clarity and intellectual energy associated with with sage. So sage for a fragrance. What's your experience with that, or what do you think about sage?
Again, you'd have to use it in very small quantities, but there are some fragrances, believe it or not, that combine sage with sea salt,
Okay.
because the sea salt, again, is kind of goes back to the cool water in a way, right? Because
Hmm.
it's very it's very airy,
Hmm.
very clean. To put the two together, you would find sage a lot, I believe, in some candles as well, because it has a strong aromatic note to it. So if you burn a sage candle in your home, I believe it kind of represents clearing the way and things of that nature. But if you go on the perfumist
Hmm.
website and kind of look through, you'll see a couple of sage fragrances, but there's not too many. Again, it's something that you would combine as a bottom note, right? You have the top notes, the mid
Hmm.
notes, and the bottom notes. Sage would be used in either a mid or bottom note. It's usually never used as a top note because it's too heavy. So
Hmm.
that's why they put, the Nerolis and the mandarin oranges, all these citrusy, exhilarating notes on top, and then the sage is kind of holds it, together. So it's a very but I love sage, and I didn't know you have to wave it you said in a clockwise.
Yeah, if you're ever like burning white sage to smudge or clear your house, you always want to start at your doorway, do
Okay.
like the frames, then you want to go around the windows, and
Oh,
you want to go
interesting.
clockwise. And then in your cabinets, you want to make sure that you're going inside your cabinets,
Oh,
your
really?
closets. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
especially the sills, because if you're into ghosts and whatnot, that's like any opening, right? So you just put that in there, and then what you want to do once you make that full circle, you want to get to the middle of the center of your home and clap 3 times, and that seals it. So
Wow.
yeah, then you're all set, and your home is
Okay.
as
I'm
good
going
as
to do that.
new.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. And how
So
often do you recommend doing that?
that's a good question. I think it's perfect to do it under the full moon cycle, because that after the full moon, it's all about letting go. So the new moon, like the one that we have on November 30th, it's all about drawing stuff in, and it's like clean slate, right? And that full moon, it's all about letting things go. So we're under a full moon cycle now. It'd be good to do some kind of cleansing under a full moon cycle like now. And also the best day to do it would be Saturday, because
Hmm.
Saturday is ruled by the planet Saturn, and it's good for banishing anything you want to get rid of.
Uh-huh. Does that include boyfriends and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Yep.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Or
Okay,
even if
great.
even I feel like sometimes even if you're still with a romantic partner, say you get into a fight and you're just like, you kissed and made up, but there's still this like lingering. I would totally smudge after something like that. Or you watch, something that was disturbing on the television. It might be a good idea to do that, or just a stressful day at work. The thing that's interesting about smudging is the next day you feel it. It's very
Oh,
it's very, very
interesting.
interesting. Once it like
Mhm.
settles, then you're like, oh, everything's fine. When right after you do it, you don't notice it straight away. But then you sleep, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, wow,
I
that really
feel,
worked.
yeah, you
Yeah,
feel more
yeah,
cleansed. Yeah.
yeah.
And then you hop in the shower with a great invigorating shower gel and you're all set to go, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be, yeah,
That's
full
interesting.
full full circle. So
Yes.
what kind of how you said with saffron you make a big impression, it's very, very fiery. And with
Mm.
basil it's more subtle and more sporty. What
Hmm.
would you say with sage? What would you say characterizes that?
To me, it's more sage to me, kind of in my mind anyway. I think it's more if for a person who's feeling good about themselves, they don't
Mhm.
need to make a big statement. They're secure, and it's almost like come to me and you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Hmm.
They don't need to go out and really, conquer the world. Some of that will come to them with the sage. I think it draws the person in. So it's more of a security. You have security about
Yeah.
yourself.
It
Yeah.
sounds very stabilizing.
Yes. Very stable.
And would you say grounding too, maybe?
Yes. Grounding.
Yeah,
Yes, for sure.
that's great.
Yeah. These are grounding. Like I said, these aromatic herbs are grounding at the same time, but they're, like I said, they're not free spirited, but they know who they are.
Hmm.
A person that wears these types of things. And I don't think, there's a couple of L'Occitane fragrances too that
Hmm.
you could look at that have a lot of these types of herbs in them. Um, they're not what you would call like run of the mill odors. They're a little more specialized. If I had to pick a fragrance that has some of these kinds of notes in it, there's a fragrance by Trésor, Lancome's
Hmm.
Trésor, it's called Absolute, and the Absolute is a very pretty fragrance, and it has a little bit of this aromatic note to it. It's very nice and sexy and pretty at the same time.
That's great. Okay, so sage is when you maybe you're good in your life and you're fine. Like you
Yeah,
want more of the same. You
yeah,
don't need to like fall in love. You don't need a new career. You're just wanting to stabilize and come what may, you're good, but there might be some new things that come about that might be good for you and you're confident in yourself already. So sage is probably one of those fragrances that you would have if you just want more of the same. You're not trying to make any
any
major changes, right?
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's to make you feel good about yourself.
Mhm.
And when people, discover you, they will see that, you're a solid person, and you know who you are.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, sage is good if you're feeling you're like that you're good, your worth, and you don't really need anything. You're confident. I love
Right.
that. So that's really
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah. Now, I just want to make sure everyone understands that these are just, of course, things that we observe and that we know from being who we are in the industries. But for anyone that's listening, I think it's all about experimenting with various notes to see which ones work better. You may not like the way sage smells, or you may not like the way neroli smells. These are, kind of ways to guide someone, because I know that from speaking to a lot of my friends, a lot of times they'll just say, it's just so much for me. I just don't know what to buy. I don't know what fragrance to wear. So these are guides that I think you should start with, especially since, as you know, the zodiac is pretty solid and dependable. So it's a
mhm,
good way to start your fragrance journey
mhm.
through your astrological sign, and then you move forward from there. And I bet people will find something once they listen to what we're both talking about. I think they'll be pleasantly surprised, and it's perfect for the holidays. Perfect
The,
time.
these fragrances.
Oh no, I mean just in general. I think
Oh
to purchase a new fragrance or have someone
yes,
buy you
yes.
something new. I mean, it's perfect time to do that.
Would you say out of the three that we went over, Diane, what would you say is I want to say holiday party, but there are job holiday parties and sexy holiday parties. But if you were going to go to a holiday party out of saffron, sage, and what is our other one?
Basil.
Basil.
Hmm.
What do you think? What would you choose?
A party. Well, I mean, again, I mean, I think the wood sage and sea salt might be a fun thing to
Yeah.
wear. For a man, definitely the cool water.
Yeah.
It has grapefruit in it and sage, and it's clean. It's a safe bet. And I'm sure if you're standing at a cocktail party and you have cool water on, some woman will inevitably ask you what you're wearing. And if
Right.
you say cool water, great. So
Very
it
good.
means that you're not
Mhm.
trying too hard. It's just who you are. So
Oh,
it's a safe bet for a party, I would say.
that's great. Okay. Well, if you're interested in learning more about any of the herbs or fragrances that we mentioned, be it the specific perfumes that Diane mentioned, or any of the notes, you can go on to perfumist.fr. And if you're looking at this on YouTube, you get a QR code right here. So you can just put that to your phone and go onto the app. It's a great app and it's going to really help you out. You can search by note or any of the fragrance, and that will start help you with your fragrance journey. Then, as we said, you can go to a store and try some different ones to see what
Hmm.
works for you.
Yeah. What's interesting too about the app is that you can find out what people are wearing in other countries.
Oh,
Because there are, depending on the country, they have an affinity towards certain notes that perhaps we don't have here in the U.S. Like Spain, for example, they use a lot of the citrus notes, a little bit more than we do. But in general, it's just, I like to just search other countries and see what they're wearing. It's just an interesting education.
especially if you're dating somebody who's a foreign.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
And Sagittarius actually rules foreign travel.
Oh, perfect.
So if you're going on a trip, then you can find out what fragrances are hot there, and then you can,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
when you're in Rome, you got to do as the Romans.
Romans do. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Really cool. Well, this
Great.
has been a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And if you're looking to find out what fragrance might be ideal for you, Diane and I are doing an actual reading together called Fragrance Scopes. So you can check out psychicsun.com/fragrance scopes. The link to that is going to be in the description below, and will help you unlock the power of astrology and scent to navigate your life's journey. There's no time better than now. So so thank you all for joining, and thank you, Diane, for
My
being with
pleasure.
me again here. This is so fun. I could pick your brain forever.
I'm going to go stage right now. I have to go. I have to do that right away.
Me too. All right. Bye everybody, and we'll catch you next time.